SOL.
Just in the chat.
Fine. Stolen from you. Nice one. Nice. It's the ring finger. It was kidding.
I have an old translation, there's an error.
There's about 100
No,
errors.
there's an error on the agenda.
There's an error in the title. No action.
Okay.
Yeah. Can't do anything. We probably.
Good evening, everybody. Today's meeting will be called to order. It's Tuesday, March 19th, 2026. Janice, would you please call roll?
Here.
Member LaFane,
Here.
Member Mitchell,
Here.
Vice Mayor Rhodes,
Here.
and Mayor Maida.
Here. Okay, before we go into closed session, would we have any public comment? Public comment from closed session?
I just have one because I
That's right. So
That in closed session?
not no transparency to the public attending. If anybody is going to recuse themselves from that item.
Not at this time.
Not at this time. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go ahead and go in closed session. Right. Okay, good evening. We'd like to reconvene to open session. And so will join me please for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Don't take an eye. No.
Reporting out of closed session, direction was given. So we will move to public comment on.
Hang on a second, I got to make a statement.
Okay.
As you all saw, I came out of closed session because the item was concerning me. It's one of the city tricks where they itemize things on closed session and they don't really put down what it is so that nobody can ask any questions. They itemized it as potential litigation. It's actually, I'm being accused of leaking from closed session. There are a lot of leaks that come out of closed session, as we know. I'm not the person leaking, but that's what it's about. So maybe next time they can actually put what we're talking about on the agenda instead of lying about it. So that's why I recused myself, because it concerned me.
Okay, reporting out of closed session. Once again, I'll say direction was given and we'll move to public comment on closed session. Any public comment?
I don't know what it was.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. Good to see you all here. Well, Jack, you stayed drier than I did. I can say that.
That's what
Car
you
show.
get, supervisor.
No, the first kid showed up, hit the thing right in the middle, knocked me right in the water. So that was at the car show there in Jackson. A couple of updates. So today we finished the final.
Supervisor, this is only
Yes,
public.
closed
comment.
session only, Dan.
Oh, I'm sorry, closed session. My bad.
It will have public comment on that shortly.
It's been a while, huh, Dan?
Okay, can we have a motion to look at the agenda and approve it?
I'll make a motion
Well,
to approve the
Andrea?
agenda.
If on the approval of the agenda, if you look at L5, it should read fiscal year 25-26 revenue expenses comparison to budget for both items, the agenda and the subject of the staff report. So if you can include that in your approval of the agenda.
Thank you. Do we have
I'll make a motion, we approve the agenda. Second.
we have first and second, approve the agenda. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, move 5-0 on that one. Now we're going to move on to presentations and announcements. I'd like to announce that Michael Politi is on the planning commission. He has turned in his resignation today regarding his position on the planning commission. And I'd like to let you know that was for personal reasons, and he has a wife at home that he's taking care of, and I want to thank him very much for all his work he's done. And he's been very dedicated to it, planning commission. So if you see him, thank him. We'll make sure we send him a nice letter. And anyway, Michael Politi did resign today, and we'll replace somebody soon. Okay, now we're going to public comment. Dan?
Sorry, this is my 7th meeting of the day. We've been, let's see, other people there. So a couple of things, updates. We approved the final piece of the funding for the Valley View Commons. It's the 44 unit complex. It'll be right across from the transit station. It's largely surrounding mental health issues. And there'll be an apartment there for the manager, and then the rest of it is for family type housing. And so they'll start digging next month. We think about an 18-month build process, and it'll be occupied in about 4 months. I talked to county staff. They already have enough people on the list to be able to fully fill it. There's also the Pine Grove Fire Station. If you haven't been up that way lately, they've got the dirt moving. They're making pretty steady progress there. It'll be done in about a year or so. The jail is almost open. They've got just a few little boxes to check, and that will be occupied here pretty quickly. They've got the staff already ramped up for that. Also, the air board. So if you have older lawn equipment you like to upgrade or whatever grade to like electric or more green type power, as they say, you can take your equipment up to Guy's Saw Center up in Pine Grove there, And you can get $300 for a running lawnmower, $2,000 for a riding lawnmower, $200 for riding other lawn equipment. But if you get up there, Ryan will do all the paperwork for you, get you established. They'll give you in-store credit to purchase equipment out of the store. They're really low on supplies right now because it's been a pretty successful program, but you don't want to let that pass. If that's something you're interested in, you probably should get to that. This year, we're planning on paving about 10 miles of road. That's what we've got on the books right now through ACTC and through the county itself. The one piece I mentioned last time is between 124 and 88. They're going to pave that little stretch there. That's out for bid, I believe. And they're also going to pave from North Comanche Boulevard. If you go all the way east on Comanche by where Coal Mine meets, if you go all the way to the east, where that intersection is, the county line, we're going to repave that this year too. If you hadn't heard, we bought some equipment with the help of ACTC, and our guys are being trained on it, so we should be able to rehab roads quite a bit more efficiently. We're just trying to get caught up. Obviously, we've got a lot of problems, but we are making some pretty good progress there. And our budget's caught back up, we believe. We're just kind of monitoring it very carefully as sales tax revenue's down and insurance rates, everything else is up. So that's my short report there. So thank you all for listening.
Thank you, Dan.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dan.
Do we have any more public comment?
Got a few things. Picnic Hill, I was out there this last weekend. It looks like we're still owed about, and Andrew will probably talk about $711,000 on that project. I noticed you guys last meeting approved in the budget for this JSG concrete. I'd like to suggest that there should be a change order there, that 3 parking spots were already included in the existing contract, and it looks like you paid them for all 6. So if you divided the 26,800 in half, it would be 13,400 owed to the city of Ione. So maybe you short pay the general contractor that's doing that and get a change order. Normally, normal business, you write a change order saying, I'm going from 3 to 6. We're paying them for the 6, but you paid a different contractor for the 6 than the contractor that has the contract. So I'd say the city's owed 13,400 on that. I looked at the JS canvas thing. Those zip ties are failing. So I have pictures. The awnings are hanging. I know they said 5 years. The zip ties do not handle UV light. There's 4 of these tarps that are hanging out there right now because they only did them on the corners and 1 spot in the middle. If you look at the grommets, there's like 8 grommets that you're supposed to run nylon rope through. That never got done. So that's failed. The other thing is you got metal pipe out there that's rusted. A kid could cut himself on this stuff. This is not capped. There's no concrete inside this. I have multiple pictures of that. They're on Facebook if anybody's watching at home. I rather than reprint 5 copies of it and you guys just throw it away, I figured I'd actually show it. This one's actually got the threads above ground. It looks like it's reused water pipe that somebody used to drill, but they put it in upside down. So the threads are up to where somebody could actually cut themselves on it. You've got burrs on multiple of these pipes where a kid could go up there on a bike and just lay his hand wide open. This is what they've done on everywhere that's parking. They put some concrete in there. There's 68 poles that line that road. About 10 of them actually have concrete in them. The rest of them are sort of cut at a jagged angle. It looks like somebody cut it with like a grinder type saw. So the stuff does not match up. You can see where the edges are sticking up. Kid puts his hand on that, he's going to cut it. I would imagine any doctor's going to tell him he needs to get a tetanus shot. You get cut something rusty, they're telling you tetanus for that. And then, like I say, the canvas deals are falling down. It was 2 on Sunday. There's 4 of them that are falling down today. And all they were doing was exactly what you would expect out of a home person. They just put black zip ties on there. They do not handle that kind of wear. So again, I think if the proper process had been followed, you guys would have been in on the loop. The ropes would have probably been done. But now you've already paid the contractors for the work, and trying to get a contractor to go back out after the work's been done is almost impossible. You wait till it's done. I don't know if police department or fire department or anybody checked this thing for permits to sign off on it. But when you got kids out there, any playground equipment has rubberized paint on it. You can see where kids are. I get it that somebody said, hey, this is based on a winery. That's people that are 21 years and older. They're not going to run around. They're not going to grab onto these things and chase each other. So, I mean, maybe Parks and Rec should have been more involved in this or given the opportunity maybe to get involved because I just think you got a lawsuit waiting to
Yeah,
happen because
30 seconds.
city manager decided to do this on his own without consulting the council, had it already done and completed before you guys even got a chance to vote on it. And in the usual 3-2, you guys approved it, didn't slap his wrists or anything for exceeding his budget. So these pictures, I can hand them out to anybody that wants to see them. They're on Facebook. I put them on I Own Politics and I Own News and Safety because I think kids are going to go out there and
Thumbs up. We got time, Larry.
Like we're friends.
I'm under a significant handicap.
You're getting better though.
I am. Hi, this is Larry Caputo from 707 Shakely Lane. I've been sitting here for the last 3 years watching the sleight of hand trick that's been going on. I've finally had enough. There have been 2 current city council members and 2 previous city council members engaging in a deflection campaign against the current city council. And for those of you who don't know what a deflection campaign is, if I can keep focus on you, you can't look at what I did or didn't do. And that's what they've been doing. And they've used a few, you might call responsible citizens as their message carrier. What they don't want you to do is ask, what the hell did you do when you had the majority of the council for 8 years? What did you do besides lose our major source of revenue, get rid of 3 city managers, 2 city planners, and 2 city attorneys? And their poster boy for the city council was a guy by the name of Mike Rock, who was removed from 3 previous cities for alleged financial crimes. One of those cities happened to be in which he worked. A guy worked for me when I worked at Fairchild. When I left, he went
Point of
back.
order, I don't think we're supposed to be beating people up from the public comment. It's supposed to be respectful.
Public comment.
Are you done now?
That's not respectful either,
Are you done?
just so you know.
Well,
Thank you.
I'll give you 20 more seconds, Larry.
Pardon me?
20 seconds, what more?
Everybody gets 20 seconds now.
Good.
I'm running the show here.
Anyway,
Larry,
the
Everybody
bottom
gets
line
20
is,
Seconds now.
this guy worked and owned a business in that city. I called him up and asked him if he knew him, and he said, oh, yeah. They gave him choice, resign or get prosecuted. That city council hired the guy knowing he had that record. Let me know when my 20 seconds are up. I'll come back and do more later.
no, you're still on 2 minutes, Larry.
Oh, okay.
I said I added it.
And so-
You'll finish before then, I'm sure.
So what they don't want you to do is ask, what did you do for 8 years? Let's talk about what this council's done. Let's see, they've done an incredible job at the arena with bucking chutes and bleachers. The arena is about to become profitable. They put the Perry Earl Park basketball courts in. These are all 10-year-old events that finally got done now. I won't go into everything, there's too many of them. The city purchased a new police department building. They got a new contract to maintain Castle Oaks landscaping. All this has been going for years and not being done. We've got new fire trucks, new rescue trucks, elementary school bus passes. We've got new lights going in for the baseball fields. They've redone the irrigation for the soccer and the baseball fields. I won't go into this whole thing. That's enough. It's clear that this council's done a lot and the previous councils have done nothing. If they could tell me what they did, I missed it. I know that we lost our major source of revenue. They didn't do anything to replace it. In fact, they fought everything that was presented to them to replace it. So quit the deflection campaign,
Don't even go.
because you got 2 people sitting up here trying to make your story, and the story's no good. And they don't ask the $64 question, what did you do for 8 years? Thank you.
Thank you. Any more public comment?
Can I get 20 seconds to respond
No.
to you? I'm not part of anybody's program.
No.
It's great that you guys try to marginalize people.
Welcome to
Talk about deflection. I haven't been here for 8 years.
We'll close public comment.
was on the council.
I've only been here 3.5
Yeah.
hours.
It just have a problem with the face.
Okay, information items tonight are fire department monthly report. There's no action on these, and the wastewater treatment plant monthly report. We'll go next to the consent calendar. Do anybody want to make a
I'll make that
motion? to
motion
approve
to
something?
Like
the
to
consent calendar.
Pull the minutes and the warrants.
Okay,
Anybody else?
Really quick.
yes.
Okay, I'll start with the minutes. On May 5th, closed session, we had number 2, conference with legal counsel. We had 2 individuals have to recuse themselves out. That is reflected nowhere. At the very end of the minutes, we had an oral presentation that was not agendized. It did not appear anywhere on the agenda. It was a presentation, but it was slid in under city manager comments. And now it is in written format in the minutes. So, Mr. City Attorney, you could probably address that. It was presentations by Andrea Bonham on our finances, and it was a report out, presentation by Jesse on building. It included revenue and so forth, and that is actually a presentation, but it is put in as document. I'll move on to the warrants. Mission IT Solutions, their contract is outdated. Have we revisited Mission IT Solutions? Amador Water Agency, the Howard Park raw water is only $3,100. I think the connection fee is $2,200. I know we've been watering soccer fields and baseball fields, so I'm curious as to why it's so low. That was on the unpaid report. That was on the paid invoices, sorry. On the unpaid invoice report on page 6, Wizix Technology Group, $220 because we went over the copy charge for a PD contract. Just want to make sure that goes into PD's budget. There's an RFP bill from the Ledger Dispatch, which discusses the city planner RFP. So my question is, when is that going to go out? Because we gave direction for that coming on 20 months. And then the last one is for Rainey, who somehow appeared as our city planner, bypassed the RFP process, and his bill is $9,000. I've asked if there's a contract for him. I've not been responded to. And he is a city planner. That's a specialty service. It's not a procurement service. The city manager cannot legally obligate this city. So is anyone going to answer me? Do we have a contract? Because we went for 23 months with no contract on the last city planner, not one contract.
We've disagreed on this before, and it'll come up later in the agenda, but there is a contract for not to exceed 15,000 for Rainey.
Okay, so are we going to continue to roll it like we did before?
It has to come back to council when it
So you
exceeds
can only use that 15,000 one time, correct?
for the same contract vendor. Yeah.
One time.
Yeah.
Then it goes to a contract that comes to the city council.
Yes.
Okay. I see we've got a lot of action on Waterman property, Ringer Ranch property. We've got an engineer out there looking at these developments. Last but not least is there's a lot of work being done on our brand new tractor. We bought a servicing agreement with that tractor. So we paid $12,000 to PAP Machinery. For a battery, Why are we repairing a tractor, an $80,000 tractor that we just bought? Does anybody know?
Because it's a piece of crap and I told us not to buy it.
You make so much sense, Vice Mayor Rhodes. It was a brand new John Deere, which is one of the best tractors. So why are we having so many issues with a brand new tractor? Nobody knows? So we're just going to keep paying. We're not going to look at our warranty and go back to the manufacturer. No? Okay. That's all I have.
I have one thing, question for Andrea. The Amador County Sheriff's Department, the 110,000 is obviously for dispatch. When do they bill us? Every quarter? What does that mean usually? That's, okay, all right. So we should probably be in the third quarter by now, right? So this would be the third one. Okay, thank you. That's all I had.
Councilmember Mitchell, do you have anything?
Yeah, Howard Park Route Water, the AWA. Can you explain a
People
little bit on
want
that?
to defeat
Like-
everything I say.
No, I just bringing up a question on water. I've been,
Hey, it's his turn. It's his turn.
Sprinklers in, that's why it's low.
no, the question I'm asking is, well, it's low. I thought it would be lower, actually. I'm curious, as to the AWA breakout.
The current charge is 3167. Of that 3167, the service charge represents 1749 of that total. So the actual water consumption that was charged was 1257. But the more than 50% of that total 3167 is the service charge. So that's the breakdown.
It's always service charges that are getting.
The service charges,
Yeah.
that's always charged whether you use water or
They
not.
raised it.
Last July they did.
Yeah, it's been raised for about a year. And also as for the water usage, why it's so low is they have not been watering baseball fields yet due to the wet weather
Yeah.
and the clay soil. So that is our most recent bill, and it's usually the month behind. So it's the previous month from what we're paying.
Okay, thank you. Is that it, Mr. Mitchell?
Yeah.
Vice Mayor Rhodes?
I have nothing.
I have nothing either. So, would like to make a motion to approve the consent calendar? Take the approval of minutes and the warrants together?
I'll make a motion. We approve item 1 and 2, the minutes and the warrants.
Second.
First and second, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Oppose?
No.
No.
Okay, there's no public hearing tonight, folks. Regular agenda number 1, L1 will be. Give that, pass that over to Mr. Brinsky.
Nope.
Actually, Mr. Wildan.
Mr. Smith. Don Smith.
Jonathan Mitchell. No, you're not Jonathan Mitchell. Wildan Engineering over here.
Jonathan's a little taller
Hey,
than
Don.
I am.
Sorry about that, pal.
Good evening, council members. I'm Don Schmidt from Wildan. I'm here in place of Jonathan Mitchell for tonight. Sorry he could not make it. We'll take the items one by one, since there's 3 separate acceptances. We'd like to bring a resolution from the city council to accept the roadway easements of Avalon Drive, Montecito Court, and Stonewater Court, parcels D and E, and lots A, B, and C collectively shown on the Castle Oaks Village 6 map. With that, a quick little background. We need to do this for formal acceptance of the roads. With the final map, we do not formally accept the dedication. This would be the opportunity we have to accept the roads as our easements and the lots. We have been maintaining them for about 3 years right now. And we have done inspections in the last couple months, checking the surfaces, and everything that we can currently see seems to be holding up fine. Not sure if there's anything else anyone would like.
Anybody have any questions? Councilmember LaFane,
I do not.
Councilman Mitchell,
No.
Councilmember Matlin.
Yeah, I have questions. So I'm concerned about Lot C, which is the Mule Creek Preserve, which is the area along the creek. How is that going to get taken care of? Is there a LLMD that's associated with that? Because you're going to take on the creek. Mr. Mitchell has told us that it's poisonous. It's got poisonous water in there. So why would we want to take Lot C? We either need a letter from you saying that the water's fine in Mule Creek and there's no danger taking that piece of property. And we also need some means to maintain it because someone's going to have to weed eat it. The trees fall down a lot. Banks get eroded. Everything else I'm fine with. It's just that Lot C, I think is a liability. So how are you going to address that?
I will have to look into the issue with possible contamination, and get back to everyone. For the other lots, they're part of a maintenance district that was put in forth with annexations when the final map went in. That would be part of our normal ones, including streetlights, roadways.
CFD for that?
Yeah, our normal CFD process.
So the bigger CFD would cover that as well.
Yes.
I mean, it's not really covering what we already have. We already have lights out that aren't getting fixed and streets that aren't getting swept. So now we're going to add another piece of property. I'm concerned that city's going to have to start kicking in some general fund money. So anyway, those are my concerns. Primarily, I'd like an assurance that we're not going to get sued if we take Mule Creek. So,
That's it.
I'll have to get back to you on that one specifically.
or we could just have these three guys voted in and then be done with it. So we shall see.
Any other questions?
Yeah,
Council?
I know you've been working real hard on this and trying to backtrack everything that was or wasn't done. It's pretty disheartening when you go to ask for a compassion test on one lot and no one has any proof it was ever done. And I know that ain't your fault. This goes back 20 years they've been doing this crap. So I appreciate everything you've done. You know, I've been talking to Jesse and asking him questions back and forth on this. So I appreciate everything you've done.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to public comment. Thank you, Don.
Good evening. I'm Susan Howarth. I live on Stonewater, and I just want to reference the adoption of the resolution number 2026-16, accepting the public improvements. How will this affect the homeowners as far as their financial responsibility? I know we have a problem with the easements in the back of us. The golf course has done some work, but the trees and things, and as far as the, will this affect the roadways that we'll have to pay for if you release Riverland, or what? What happens to the
Josh?
homeowners?
Can you answer that?
Josh, city manager.
Only so this project was before my time, but generally all your maintenance finance that's on your property is already formed and you're paying that already. The city has that money to maintain all your public improvements. This item doesn't affect that at all. There's no increase in fees happening with this item.
What about the easements on Stonewater? What are they referring to?
I believe those are the roadways, but the city's now the developer is done with those improvements. The city is accepting it. Now the city has to maintain it.
Okay, so if we have a problem with our easement in the back, we live on the golf course, that we then contact the city.
If that's a city easement, yes, I
Well,
don't know which easement but whoever's easement it is who you would, if it's the
Yeah.
city's, yes, you would contact the city.
Okay, and so it's now their responsibility to do any work that is, that we need to have done. Is that correct on their easements?
Without knowing everything about this project and which parcel you're talking about, very likely, yes.
Okay,
These new homes.
alrighty, thank you.
Which one?
Thank you.
Good luck.
I have a couple of things about accepting this. There was they were putting crushed rock in a lot of our pipes, and they never straightened that out. I knew they were putting it in it, especially Village 8 and the Village 6. And it sunk on them on Village 6, and they had to come back and redo some of it. But the thing is, the person who was inspecting this tried getting that road rock, a crushed rock in there instead of AB. And a Wanger was here that night and they tried doing that. And he says, no, it'd be AB. But they still did not take that out of the sewer lines. And the drain lines, they did not take that crushed rock out. That's exactly what you got problems over in Wildflower, exact same thing. And there was a guy at the Public Works got to sign off on this. And I hate to say it, I agree with Mr. Outland about over in Village 8. I walked that.
Oh my God.
One time and I took pictures of it. That creek has got trees in it. That's why it almost flooded. And we're gonna have to maintain that. That should be all straightened out and done straight before we take one dime of that. And what happened to the connection from where the hotel or whatever it was supposed to be? There's supposed to be a paved road in between those houses and that's the maps I had when I think I could find them for you, when we okayed that in the planning commission. There was actually a little paved area where they could run bicycles and stuff between the houses and Mule Creek. And I'd never seen it. They never did nothing. The fence is falling down. I mean, you guys ought to walk that. It's bad. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rhodes. Any more public comment? Okay, anyone on council like to say anything more? Any more comments? Councilmember LaFane?
Well, they bring up a good point. Who are the people going to go to? I mean, if they're going to be paying the CFD tax, those people that move in there, this person already pays the CFD tax. She's already paying it. So does she make an appointment with Mr. Lee, the city manager, to discuss that at a later date? Mr. Lee?
I would imagine so.
You would imagine so. Okay. I mean, when you have Larry and Dominic agreeing, then I would tend to think that there's some issues there,
It's the world thing.
right? I mean, it's like two colossal opposites agree on something.
Mr. Outland, would you like to comment on that point?
No, I already did. Thank you.
Councilman Mitchell, any comments?
No, I appreciate Dominic's input in it as well. The interesting thing on some of these, I live on the golf course as well. They call them orphan properties, and I get quite a few calls. And it's interesting, you go to call the golf course to say, hey, you need to deal with this. And they say, well, it's not our property. And then you call the city and they say, well, it's not our problem. And so you sit and you have this overgrowth, and we've never addressed the orphan properties. It's been brought up a number of times. We've never done anything with it. And that's a problem, and has not been addressed to anyone's satisfaction.
So does this get passed now?
Would depend on the vote. I'm just saying I agree with you and understand, and I'm very familiar with several other homes along different, not just your street, but other streets that have the same issue with we call them orphan properties, where no one said it's ours. It's neither the golf courses, it's neither the cities, it's just phantom property that's in between two pieces. And no one seems to want to take ownership or figure out what to do with those.
Vice Mayor Rhodes?
Yeah, like I said, the city's been doing a horrible job of this for 20 years. Finally, the building department is getting a lot better. 1,000% better. But there's still the problem of this was inspected and done and signed off on others years ago, and I don't trust, because there's the same issue, again, that has happened at Wildflower, and I hope this doesn't happen there. It's a little bit different ground, but we're doing better, but still not comfortable with it.
Well, my comment is, I'm I'm not really comfortable voting on this one resolution yet, because I'm not familiar with the creek aspect of it. And, on this one, I personally think I'd like, just for my own personal satisfaction, this isn't like, Josh.
I'll only add that all these three items are tied to subdivision improvement agreements.
Oh, they're all tied together.
And what that means is once the developer is done building the improvements and our city engineer has inspected it and signed off, it is time for us to accept that. And if we don't, I mean, something has to be faulty with the improvements or the dedications for us to not accept them at this time. So
Do we have to do all three?
No.
Or can we pull one, like, let's say we table this one or whatever, but we go on to the next two?
if you table one of them or all three of them, then I would advise that staff get to work to answer your questions as soon as possible and get it back on the next agenda, because right now you have the city engineer having signed off that these improvements are done.
Do we have assurances that these issues like the creek will be addressed? I mean, that we'll have, I understand the concerns on that one.
What's the solution?
What is a solution? Yeah.
Solution? I think they're asking, what is
I
it?
just want to know.
It's not a map that I don't know if we're accepting it for our ownership. I haven't looked at the map and what
Right.
we're accepting. Staff can look into it right after. If you're going to table it, continue it to the next meeting. But I would imagine this has all been
I would make a motion to
ready.
table it.
I'd move it to the next meeting table, yeah.
Can I comment real quick after?
Yes,
the-
please.
And everything. So from my understanding and what the research and everything has discovered on this is that we have technically already signed this off. Todd Wakely did in 2023, and that he released Riverland from their bonds and everything else. So this is just doing like the technicality part for the city, that there's technically nothing that we can't go back to Riverland now and say, we don't like this or whatever, because it's been 5 years and we're already outside of our warranty time with them and they're no longer, it's already been signed.
Okay, so this is a formality. It's based.
See the document that Todd Wakely
We
signed?
Have been digging. We have. been
Okay, so
digging.
you were just told that Todd Wakely signed off on it.
No, but they have, do you have additional?
So you're saying, Jesse, basically this is a formality.
There's.
Okay.
I like,
it's
yeah.
been Done, and I know that we saw.
1 second.
My stack of paperwork in there.
Yeah, I have that work was done in 2022 through 2023 with the city engineer issuing an acceptance in summer of 2023.
Todd Wakely was gone in 2023, summer.
Todd Wakely's not the city engineer.
No,
Yeah,
he's
so
not.
that letter was issued by Wildan to the developer based on the inspections done by Tom.
By who?
By Tom Wakely?
Todd. It was
Todd?
Todd Wakely.
Sorry about
And
that.
Todd Wakely was barely here in 2023.
The inspections were done prior and then Wildan.
They would have had to have been done in 2022 because he was MIA in 2023 and then suddenly retired thanks to.
So he did inspections. Wildan released the property in summer of 23 based on the inspections done by this individual.
So we're just basically following up on what was done in the past. Okay.
You're
Okay, so.
following a contractual obligation.
Yes, I understand. I understand.
Obligation also to ask questions, Mr. Ferinsky.
I don't think that's a question. That's not necessary to say.
Well, yours just wasn't necessary to say.
So does anybody want to entertain a motion on this?
I'll make a motion to table item 1.
You have a motion to table item 1. All those do you have a second?
Oh.
Just don't know what other resolution.
Okay,
Well, you
motion dies
I
for
mean, the
second.
council wants further information on the acceptance of the creek parcel and who maintains that.
They're all the same.
Yeah.
This is
Do it
going to be
all.
the same for all three.
Should we do it on all three? Table all three till next meeting?
So just so you know,
Miss any of that at all?
lot C is on all three of these.
Okay.
Okay, so we had a motion to table.
I'll second it. If you're
Yeah,
going
but-
to do all three of them.
Have a second. Do all three of them. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. What is the direction given though?
Opposed? I say no.
Staff will look into the parcel C dedication and how that parcel is maintained if at all, and bring it back at
You're
the
gonna
next meeting.
give them a scope of work to what to look for when they go out there that these people are concerned about? I mean, there's a difference. Staff goes out and says, oh, it looks good.
I think it's more a legal question of what are we accepting and what's the scope of the city's
What do we have
maintenance
to?
duty.
And what do we have to accept based on past performance from previous boards?
I mean, what is the realistic solution, Mr. Brinsky? Because again, if we've already accepted it, so
Well, you haven't accepted
Money
that. This is the acceptance.
I thought they signed up on it,
The improvements.
on the improvements.
Councilmember LaFane, with Councilmember LaFane, would you please let people talk? I can't even concentrate because quit over there, please.
Paying
With some
attention to
respect.
me.
I can't. Okay, would you like to continue what you're saying?
I imagine they were signed off on, but the formal part of this is that council has to accept these improvements. So that's on record as the city now owning and operating these roadways and utilities and
So if the city does not accept these, then who does the city go to for recourse? Or do we have any recourse?
Been released.
it's a developer obligation until the city accepts it, but now we're in a bit of a gray area since it's time for us to accept it, and
Mhm.
we're just getting clarifications to the council on these specific items.
Okay, so we'll put this now on the next agenda. Okay, next meeting. Okay,
That's fine.
let's move to item number 4, please. Introduction and waive the first reading and read by title only, an ordinance of the City Council of Ione, of the City of Ione, amending Chapter 2.44, purchasing and bidding policy of the Ione Municipal Code to increase.
Did we take public comment on 1 through 3?
I believe we did.
We tabled it.
Yeah,
We still have to take public comment, even
You
if
didn't take.
we took public comment and then
2, 3, and 4.
we had public comment. I had the couple of it from Stonewater.
okay. Yes, sorry. Thank you.
Item 1.
Okay, Josh, you want to read this one? It's yours?
Yes, this was directed at the last meeting. I prepared the ordinance in chapter 2.44 to increase the city manager's purchasing limit from 15 to 50,000. The council can provide further direction on that number if they wish to make it lower or higher, but it's a pretty narrow code amendment. At some point, the council might want to come back and just do a more comprehensive review to some of these provisions. I added a comment in there of the city is part of the Uniform Construction Costs and Accounting
Well,
Act, and
we have to follow that.
we do. And
We don't have to follow that.
well,
Would you let him please speak? It's his turn.
we're opted into it, so we're opted in. We have to participate, and those bidding limits should be consistent. But anyway, the ordinance, some other provisions are outdated, but the only change from this ordinance is increasing the city manager's purchasing limit for budgeted items. Anything that needed a budget amendment would still have to come back to council. This is the introduction of the ordinance. It would be back at another council meeting for a public hearing.
Okay, do we have any council comments? Councilmember LaFane?
I do. I don't know if you're saying it's narrow in your ordinance. You say, whereas the purchasing ordinance currently sets the city manager's authority for budget expenditures at 15,000. Well, let me go back. In your staff report, I'm stand corrected. Corresponding consistency edits. The intent of the attached ordinance is narrow to increase the city manager's purchasing limit above 15,000 and make corresponding consistency edits to the chapter. What does that mean?
More of form edits of those can all be found in 244-140 of just the way that it was broken down by chart. It has each department at different levels. Speaking with the finance director, all purchases are made through the city manager and not through each department. So there was just some cleanup to that section to just specify everything up to, if you adopt the proposed amendment, everything up to 50,000 is approved by the city manager.
Well, we already know it's going to be adopted.
And then
I
there's
would like some clarification. That the 50,000 is a one-time thing. You do not roll the 50 grand. Because then what's the point of having contracts? If the city manager is just going to continue to roll 50 grand forward. Because that's what was done for the first 2 years.
it's not a blanket limit. It's by expenditure. So it's.
And are
if
these
he's-
for
if-
budget? So these are for budgeted items only, correct?
Yes.
But you mentioned a budget amendment.
If something is not budgeted, he can't do it.
I would like that put in here.
Okay, it is, but we
Well,
we can
it's
clarify.
Vague, yeah. Again, I go back to specialty services. When you have a city manager or a city planner obligating the city, especially with construction and development, and they do something wrong, who's liable? If we're not putting a contract out there, who's going to be responsible for their errors and omissions?
City.
The city. But if you have a contract, they're responsible, correct? Because they have insurance, correct? For their errors and omissions. So they make, let's say a planner makes a big mistake. I mean, we've just heard Vice Mayor Rhodes talk about the errors that our Public Works Department made.
Our contract templates have required insurance provisions for those contractors.
The new ones will.
The templates since we came on board, all the templates.
We've never had the privilege of seeing those contracts that
You've seen some, but yeah, it has those insurance provisions for those consultants to have.
Okay.
To have those.
Do you think we could eventually have one of those copies of your template?
Of course.
So, because you're using them quite regularly. This council does not see those contracts. All right. I feel like I'm just spinning wheels because that 50 grand, if you notice on the new bidding policy, it's dated 3/25. This is the exact same policy that they tried to run through last year. So the bottom of it was created 3/10/2025. So they tried this last year, it didn't work, so they're going to make another run at it. I will tell you, the city of Lodi, their city manager has a limit of 25,000. Folsom, 10,000. Roseville, 10,000. We're nowhere near the capacity of those cities. So it's just an observation. That's all I have.
Okay, Councilmember Atwood.
Couple of things. Because we're changing the Muni code, don't we have to notice this and have a public hearing first?
No, it doesn't have to be at this one, but it will be at the next one.
Okay.
But we approve it first, then we have a public hearing.
The other thing is the reason that we have the purchasing limits is for transparency. It's so that there's an opportunity for the council to see that we're spending some money, opportunity for the public to see that we're spending some money. Now, we've already budgeted to spend the money. So for example, if we say we're going to spend 100 grand on carpet, we've already said we're going to do that. And then city manager will have to do, if he wants to spend more than 15,000, just brings it to the council. And it's a really easy thing to do. You could put it in the consent calendar. You know, I'm spending 15,000 on this part of the carpet. So I don't see why sticking with what it is a problem. 50,000 is really high. We haven't been following the 15, let alone the 50. So I think this should have just stayed as it is. Definitely don't want to see it go over 25, but it's there so that people can see that we're spending money. And it's there so you have an opportunity. It's there so you could see who the contractor is. Because a lot of times when I run for council, everybody said, how'd you get a contract around here? And it's like, well, you have to be someone's cousin is the real answer, but that's a joke, by the way. But is it really? Everybody should have an opportunity to bid. If you look at this bidding document about how I swear that I will hire people for my own. You're supposed to do all that stuff. Amador County people, I own people, and none of it's being followed. So I don't know what the point is of spending money on redoing codes when it never gets followed. That's just a waste of money. So my 2 cents. I know this will pass. So
Councilman Mitchell,
Don't have anything.
Council Member, Vice Mayor Rhodes.
Nope, nothing.
I have nothing either. Would anybody have some public comment, please?
I can remember something about PERC, and I brought this up before, the aerators, they're like $48,000. And this council, not you guys, but the council okayed them to buy that without going through the cabinet voted on. A long time ago, they did that. And I don't have the records of it. I probably do buried somewhere, but I just think it's funny. They do it for PERC, but they won't do it now. Thank you.
we also do it for the new wastewater operator because it's a different thing. The way
Okay, we
operator.
have anybody on Zoom? Go ahead, please.
Good evening, everyone. This is Patricia Angija on Castle Oaks Drive. I just wanted to chime in on this item. So I did a little research about more comparable cities such as Sutter Creek and Plymouth. Plymouth has a 20,000 limit for the city manager before going to council for approval. Sutter Creek has a 50,000 limit, but there's also a very handy chart that shows that anything over 5,000 has to be a contract, so that it's not just, one-time expenditure. Those are typically like Councilmember LaFane talks about how they're contracts so that several expenses eventually goes over that $50,000 threshold. So I think looking into that sort of research would be a good idea. Another thing is I'm just a little confused as to why this needs to be an ordinance. I think discussed at the last meeting was it being an ordinance, it takes time to review and then also time to change. In the event that we would want to change that, that could be a very lengthy process and could get us into hot water. I'm not sure why this isn't, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know, but just wondering why it's not just a policy and procedure versus an ordinance. That's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you. More callers?
Dave Johnson, I guess with it being an ordinance, you guys aren't making them follow the 15,000 now and you have a 3-2 majority. It just seems like we're spending a lot of money to accomplish nothing because if George approved 50,000 today, wouldn't be a problem, it'd be 3-2 vote. But it seems like we're spending a lot of money to create a policy that you're saying if George leaves, you might want to knock it back down to 15 again. So to me, I don't know, maybe I'm just looking at it from different eyes, but you guys could probably table this after whatever the election is when 3 new council members get elected, and then you can figure out how the land lays then. But if you always got a 3-2 vote, he can do whatever the hell he wants. And if there was a vote on it, I would say I would hope the mayor would abstain from that since George is a relative. And it seems to me there'd be a conflict of interest. I think one of the first votes you took was to increase the salary, and I thought you should have abstained from that as well. But that's up to you, and Josh can figure that out. But it just seemed to me it'd be easier to kick it down the road and not deal with an ordinance, not pay all the extra money, because nothing happens anyhow. So might as well just keep doing what you're doing. It's working for you guys right now. There's no threat to you unless the council changes majority, and then there's a problem. But right now, you guys can keep doing what you're doing and save the city some money on doing the ordinances and the multiple meetings. I think you projected it was about $5,000 to do this whole process, Josh, and then you got to go back if they decide, hey, we don't want the next city manager to have this ability. So just my 2 cents.
Okay, anybody on Zoom? Jesse, any more public comment? Okay, we'll close public comment. Do we have anybody who would like to entertain a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to increase the city manager's purchasing authority to $50,000 limit.
Second.
Sorry, could
First and second, all in
could that
favor?
could that motion read as the agenda language, as the introduction of the ordinance?
Hold on. Make a motion to waive the first reading and read the title only and ordinance of the city council of the city of Ione amending chapter 2.44 purchasing and bidding policy of the Ione Municipal Code to increase the city manager's purchasing authority to $50,000.
Second.
We have first and second, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Oppose?
No.
Okay, motion passes. Number 5, year-to-date actuals fiscal year 2025-26 and budget amendments.
Good evening, council. So this is actually stated it's the 25 fiscal year 25-26 revenue and expenses through April 30th. No budget amendments. So if you have the staff report before you, I've just listed, I've given you the full report, and then I've listed a few items to highlight, and then any questions you have, I'd be happy to answer. So to start with, I broke it up into revenue and expenses. So we've received our big tax payment for property. We have other taxes coming in. So we are projected to be more than budgeted. That amount that you see on the report is not fully the tax property because you pull out the delinquent tax. We get a big giant packet and there's a big worksheet that goes through to pull out the other pieces that the county send to us. So I don't have a number on what the projection will be. We have business license revenue of 18,825. That's not showing on that report. I've put a ticket into Cassell. We can see it in the transactions, but it's not hitting the GL. So it's not showing on the report. And I have both the business license module and the GL side working on that. So that's why you'll see on the revenue for the business license on the page 1, why it looks so low. It's only showing the 3,000. The interest income, we knew we were going to be using some funds for the project that AWA was providing the funds for, and then they would reimburse us. So we knew we'd be spending funds that would not be initially getting that interest rate that we had budgeted for earlier. So the interest rate will be a little lower than what we anticipated, but it's still going to be close to $400,000, which is great. The planning and the next couple ones, the planning, engineering, developer deposits, those are 2 items that we had budgeted for when, just like Ringer Ranch, as mentioned earlier, Ringer Ranch and Waterman, when they come in, they reimburse us for our expenses. So we've started the project of looking into the development reimbursements, and they haven't been done in several years. So it's a fairly large project for us going back to reconcile everything. So we're going to start with Ringer Ranch and Waterman since they're the most current and we know what has happened with those. So if we need them to reimburse us for the expenses, we can get those while we tackle the bigger ones from Castle Oaks and Wildflower as we get through that project. We have our receivables have increased quite a bit. That's due to the CDCR payment increase and the Caltrans. We also increased Caltrans. Last year or previous year, We went to Caltrans and upped them because it's been like 1986 when we did the original contract, and it never got updated till about 2 years ago in, I think, April of 24 when Mr. Lee started. And we upped it on our rates. So this year, what we did is we actually went to their site and got their rates for equipment and labor. So we put that in, and it took probably, let's see, Jacqueline has been working with them for over 6 months to get it approved. So we finally got it approved. So we should be getting, it's not a great increase, but we should be getting that in also. We are still waiting for the reimbursement for the AW grant of the 7-Eleven. So just so everybody's clear on the numbers I keep hearing thrown out, everybody keeps saying $1 million. It was $917,000 total. Then part of that was moved over to the soccer field. So it was like 880 for Picnic Hill, not $1 million. So I just wanted everybody to be on the same page. And then we also received an extra $16,000 when ACRA closed down. The county actually redistributed payments back out, so we received that $16,000 from ACRA. As far as the expenses, so one of the things we're doing right now, the expenses. So at the beginning of the fiscal year, we had some turnover and very few people in finance, and so now that, and a lot of back stuff that we were dealing with from 2024 and reports. So now that we're on a good system and we're rolling, we're starting to review a lot of things to make sure we're correct for this year. So your report, there's already been changes to the report that I've been working on for the last 2 days. And so I just wanted to give you an idea of some of the items that we're looking at. So one of the things is council, if you look at wastewater and public works, a lot of them show negative. There were several items that were approved by council, but didn't have a budget amendment with them. So I have to go back and find the actual meeting and find out what the wording was to see what was approved. I think for wastewater, it was just the amount to get Title 22. I don't know if there was an amount next to it. So we would just handle that at the end of the year. So the same thing, we had some Park and Recs work done. That was the same thing. It was approved by Park and Recs and then council, but there was no budget amendment. This is early on in the year. So you'll see there's a lot of things you'll see in Public Works. And then we get into some really big things. So we've been reviewing the payroll, health. We have these big worksheets that when something comes in for, say, our health insurance, we have a worksheet that we put in the data and it creates the journal entry that has to be put into Cassell. And they're worksheets that we've been using for years. And we've really started to look closely and audit them because they're not completely correct. And one of the examples I'll use is we have a health insurance and you have a liability account of when employees pay their insurance. And then when they pay the payroll and they pay their insurance, those two should wash out. So it should always come to a negative. Well, it never does because the worksheets aren't reporting it correctly. So I made the decision, and I stand by this decision, to stop just putting it in just to get in and get caught up and actually start addressing the bigger issues. In January, we felt we were at a place to where we were not putting out so many fires and could start really digging into a lot of the underlying issues. So one of the ones that we're doing is I've just finished the health insurance one and have all the health insurance actually posted. The one that I'm working on right now is the payroll, and because that one's a bear. And then we've also been working on a lot of the different worksheets that do our allocation. So you'll see like utilities and insurance, you'll see in this report, they have some funny spots where someone's over, but then in the next line item, there's a zero amount and it's all based on those worksheets. So that's one of the things we're digging into, those worksheets, to make sure everything gets allocated correctly. One of the things you guys probably already know, I don't need to tell you, fuel costs went up this year. That has hit everybody's budget. We have several organizing and filing projects that we completed with the audit room, also with the building department, when we had a new employee come in and actually went through that department. So we do have higher office expenses than normally anticipated, and a lot of that is due into buying boxes and filing and label tape and just all those supplies to create all those new files. Utility costs have also increased over the years. And that's another one where we're looking at our allocations, because you'll see some are way over, then some don't have any allocations to them at all. And that's all based on those worksheets that we need to audit. Same thing with the insurance and the property insurance. You'll see some, there's a whole bunch, and then there's a zero on them. Same thing with citywide allocations. We've got to review. They're all kind of tied together. And then you'll notice on the 311506193, it was just one that stuck out right on the top of the page. It was using that 50, that 50 account that years ago, back in 22, 23, they moved everything into the 50 accounts, were like these citywide accounts. So it should never had been posted that. So I was just telling you where we were going to post it. And the good news is the CDF and landscape and lighting and landscape, Castle Oaks has always been kind of confused to where you have basically two different things. You have your CFDs, where it's we hold the money and the bonds, and then you have the lighting and landscape where they pay a CFD, but it's not the bond related, it's community facilities district. And they pay to, and they kept getting intermingled over the years. So that's all been pulled out, and lighting and landscape now is just lighting and landscaping, including the, what is it, the few that only pay the low amount, the $50, they're even included in that. And then the bond money, which is not our money, is separate in the CFDs. So that's clean. We've gotten through that one. And then, like I said, several of these items have already been.
Don't we get a refund?
Yeah, so that's the other thing. One of the things, I was getting to that point.
Oh, okay.
So one of the other things we've been doing is just trying to clean up and really dig deep into things. And we found out for the admin fees that we pay for the CFDs, we pay it to DTA, which is David Tossick and Associates. And we are able to get reimbursed from US Bank for those admin fees, which we haven't done in years. So we can go back and back bill and receive. So we're hoping a couple $100,000 will come back to us in the CFD admin fees. We also had a few items. We had some credits. If you notice, there was like camps that you'll always see on your report. We had some items of credits that's been hanging out. So we went ahead and contacted the vendors and said, just cut us the check, and so we can clear the vendor, clear that account before the end of the fiscal year. The other thing, Dominic, this should make you happy. We actually were going through AWA bills and trying to get everything, all of the bills that we receive, because we receive a lot of AWA bills, and PG&E, and we've done this citywide. We've been slowly working on making sure we know exactly which bill goes where. So we've been calling PG&E and AWA and updating names, because they would sometimes just be generic names and nobody knew what they really were for. So the good news is at Howard Park by the skate park, there was a meter that didn't seem to go to anywhere. I had Public Works test it. We even had Kenny go out and test it. And so we were able to cancel that one. So that one's going to save us about $6,700 a year by getting rid of that meter. We don't know what it was to. We turned everything off. It didn't seem, we don't know if it was for the old trailer that was there back in, the 90s. But we've turned that one off. We also had the same thing with iWorks, which is our building software. It came up for renewal, and it has a listing for Public Works module, which was added 3 or 4 years ago, but nobody's ever used it. So that's a $2,000 saving where we said, we don't need it. We have our building side. We don't need the extra Public Works module. So we're just slowly trying to go through, and as we get time between audits and all our reporting, to just try to clean up a lot of little stuff that's been left over. And you guys have any questions for me?
You have questions?
I got a quick one.
Sure.
First of all, thank you and your team. You are a hard worker, and you have nailed down some of these issues that have been going on and on that people just keep kicking down the road. And you may get blamed for some things because you're the finance person now, but I know it wasn't you. And it's like a lot of stuff with George. He wasn't here. So when I criticize things, it's not necessarily the people that are here's fault. It's just I'm criticizing the issue, not the person. But my quick question is, like, what are we doing like right now? On the regular agenda, it says year-to-date actuals, fiscal year 25, 26, and budget amendments, right? I mean, is that an action thing? Is that a presentation? I don't know. Then you go over to your staff report and it says budget amendment for bookkeeping and audit services. So when I read that, it's like you're asking me to give you a budget amendment for bookkeeping and audit services. So my question is, what are we doing here? Is this just you're just giving us a presentation? Are we going to have to vote on something, approve something? Because it's really confusing on the agenda. Like, what are we?
So on the agenda, that was the mistakes that I brought up at the beginning for the approval of the agenda. The title is incorrect on the agenda, and it should be the 25-26 revenue comparison to budget. And the subject line is my mistake. That is wrong on the staff report. But if you look at the staff report, I'm asking you to receive the report. There's nothing for you to do other than to receive the update.
But by receiving the report, what are we doing? Approving all of your budget adjustments or not?
There are no budget adjustments on this report.
There are no budget amendments
There's
on
no-
this report.
No,
Okay.
that's why the updated title, when you guys approve the agenda, is fiscal year 25-26 revenue and expenses comparison to budget. And that's what it should say, both on the agenda and in the subject line on my staff report.
So we're just receiving your report
Yes,
tonight.
this is an update of the finances,
Okay.
and you'll notice that your payroll is going to be low, and that's because I made the decision to fix the payroll instead of just pushing it in.
Right. Okay. Thank you. That was my quick question. Thank you. Now I know what questions to ask you,
Yeah.
right?
Councilmember LaFane?
Accepting it, not making any changes. I have no question.
Well, if you guys have any comments or,
I mean, I see a lot of losses. I remember us getting rid of ACRA because we didn't want to pay them. Was it $25,000 a month on our recreation program, and now we're looking at.
we paid 52 total to ACRA. We paid, I think, 20 something for the pool and 32 to be a member. So that ran the pool and did their programs, which the last year.
25,000 a month to run our recreation program.
You paid them by the year, 52,000 a year.
And so here we are with some egg on our face. It's not as easy as we thought it was gonna be. Or costly. It's costly. But
Yeah, and
anyway, so moving on. I'm just gonna say one more comment on the AWA grant. I can't find a grant. Saved my life on the Regional Water Board. For this grant program. I can't find AWA under there. They have one portal, searched them all. Thank you.
It's department.
Sorry. Anyway, so I submitted a PRA request for it to see if I can get the information, why they have not reimbursed us.
From the
AWA.
AWA.
Yep. Where's the money? Because they promised it to us quite a while ago.
Well, and I keep expecting for AWA, CDCR, and Caltrans. Everybody wants to close their books by the end of June. So I'm
Right.
anticipating in the next couple weeks, we should be getting several checks in just for people trying to close
No,
out their
they're-
year
yeah,
end.
They're trying to reconcile their,
Mhm.
that doesn't mean you're gonna get paid during that time. Trust me, I know, we're reconciling, that's it. And encumbering and reallocating. But I can't find that grant. I can't find the city of Ione listed with the Water Resources Board. I can't find AWA. So it's concerning. So
Okay, Councilmember, go
that's
ahead.
all I have, Mayor Maida.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Mitchell?
Yeah, I appreciate all the work you're doing immensely. I'm sure there's going to be some pieces that we find that are really ugly that we're not going to be happy about, but I hope you find them. And I hope this council has the wherewithal to do it right moving forward. So whatever you find, bring it. And as Dominic stated, we know it's not you, but let's do it right. Let's move it forward and figure it out. And we'll work together to get there. So thank you for everything you've done.
Yeah, just thank you and all your staff. I see you in here every day pounding away on calculators. Good job.
Yes, it is. It's pretty impressive when you come in here and see the change in the whole office atmosphere and everything. Everybody's working so well together, and finance has really done their job. Thanks, guys, very much.
Well, I do want to say it's more than just finance, especially like with the 23-24 audit. We had every member, front desk, bill.
Absolutely. That's what I
City
was
clerk.
luring to. I
We
see
had-
Jesse being contributing a lot. Everybody,
the
Jess,
city
everybody's
clerk.
involved.
Everybody had a portion and something to tackle for, because I don't know if any of you guys have been through an audit, but it's a lot of paperwork and it's a lot of pulling data. You get stacks and stacks of data. So literally every single person in the office, including our grant coordinator, has been part of that. And we couldn't have done it with all those people. So-
Absolutely correct. Couldn't agree with you more. It's definitely been a team.
Hang on, I got the questions now. I didn't get my question.
Yeah.
I just asked a clarified question. So, I've got lots of questions, but I'm not gonna ask them because it'll take forever. I'm just gonna run through some things real quick.
Sure.
There's some things that I think you should change on your report.
Okay.
First of all, the second column where you've got fiscal year actual, what you should put there is year-to-date budget, because all you're doing is duplicating the first column. So fiscal year actual would then show you exactly where you are with your percentage. All you got to do is multiply the budget times whatever month it is. You know, we're 83.33. So fiscal year actual, for example, let's just look at general fund, first line. You've got budget $1.3 million, current $1.8 million, actual the same. And what it should be is 83% of the 1.3 to see whether you're over or under your budget.
It does tell you that if you look at your current and your fiscal year budget, it tells you what's remaining. So that very first line shows that we went over and we received more than we were anticipating.
So
And that 136, are you looking at the very first line on page 1?
Yeah, I'm just looking at page 1, yeah.
So it's doing exactly what you're asking. It just has, you don't want to see that actual. And why they have the actual, because if I didn't close a period, those two wouldn't match.
They shouldn't match. I'll talk to you about that in the office. What I'm saying is the fiscal, that one there should be 83% of the budget to show you where you are currently versus your budget. See, right now, we're currently, well, and that one we're over budget, but there's a lot of them that we're under budget because, of course, we're 17% short of the full year. So you expect to be under budget 17%. And, you know, on month 1, you expect to be under budget by, 92%.
Right. We can meet afterwards because I think this is doing exactly what you're asking.
Okay. Keep that up. Just want to go through some things.
Sure.
I agree with Councilperson LaFane. So we were all gung ho to get out of Accra. What's good here is
411, the pool.
I'm gonna run for it real quick. So in 24-25, we budgeted to lose $90,000 running the pool. In 25-26, we budgeted to lose $120,000. We've missed our revenues by 50%. 1 year and 50% the next year, even after we adjusted it down by 50%, we missed it again.
Well, on the pool,
On the pool.
on your pool, you only have half the year in now because it doesn't start till June. So everybody's just now starting to sign up for swim lessons. So that recreation, that pool gets split in half. So you got what you're seeing, that revenue.
Sure, I get there's 2 more months. I get it. I'm just saying what it is right now. Hopefully in June, which is 1 month, we make up.
May and June.
But you don't, in your budget, you have that you're going to take in $12,000. So you're never going to close the $90,000 gap if you hit your budget, is my point. But we'll know more at the end of the year.
Well, and that's true. We were looking at being over, we always spend about $100,000 or to $120,000 on that pool. And that's a decision that council makes every year is it worth having it open? Because even with Accra, we still maintain it and it costs us about $100,000 we lose on it.
I'll disagree with you there that you don't tell us we're going to lose 120,000, but that will be something that I would like to get in the budget. You know, how much are you comfortable with in your recreation programs of losing? So I'll just go down this real quick. Like the arena, you got a $31,000 loss. 2 years ago, you got a $40,000 loss this year, and the loss, will get a little bigger because you only paid the $3,000 starting in January. Jumping down, I got the police department. They had a $213,000 capital outlay budgeted for, which you spend on buildings.
Mhm.
What was that for? I mean,
They're building, their police building.
to do building improvements. And don't forget, this is prior to when we bought Ace Hardware. So they had $213,000 that they were going to spend fixing buildings.
It was all, remember, the budget got approved in October. It all was happening at the same time.
Okay, so you
And-
anticipated putting 213 into the new building in October. That's what I thought may have happened. But the budget, you know, okay, so basically on the fly in October, you did that, okay. Howard Park, we got a $1 million loss in Howard Park currently, but we're gonna get probably 800 of it back, but it's still a loss. Where are you paying PERS? Because you've got 0 on PERS. Is that going in, is that going into PARS?
Well, that's one of the ones that, one of the worksheets I'm working on.
Okay,
So,
so that's fine, because there's nothing for PERS.
correct, and all of those.
And there's no payroll, hardly any payroll, but you just said why.
It's through December. It's, I'm working on the January forward. So we have the journal entries. Jane's been helping, and I was actually able to talk with Larry Bain when he was here for another item. I went over the health insurance worksheets with him and the payroll insurance news sheets to make sure we were in sync and understood what was happening. So those should be done shortly.
Okay.
We just have to do the posting.
I asked you earlier about the dispatch fees for the police department.
Yeah.
There's no dispatch fees. Should be 300,000. And there's only, I think, 49. I didn't copy everything.
Oh,
But there's a huge,
Yeah, that
Here we go.
didn't include their last bill, which we just had their big last bill.
right, this one's 100, but you should have had 2 others
Yeah.
already.
And
They're not in there.
some of them had been moved around, like I said. So this stack right here is everything I've moved since I've done this report in my research. So the next report you get, you're going to see changes that might address some of these questions.
I mean, that's pretty much it. The report should have had a, like disclaimer on it that says that there's, this is not final. There's a lot of things missing, because when, someone picks up this report, which is what I did, I'm going, wow, that's not there, that's not there, that's not there, that's not there. And then it gets explained at the meeting, which someone that didn't come to the meeting isn't going to know. But this is going to be on the agenda for all time. So when someone wants to go back and find, oh, let's go check out their partial year budget, then they're going to think exactly what I thought, that there's massive shortfalls in just about every category because there's things that are being worked on.
That
And
was
so
the intention of the staff report.
okay, so it says that in there as well? I may have missed that. Well, I'm just saying it's confusing. You pulled this off whatever. I'm good. Thank you, and I appreciate your hard work.
Okay, we haven't had public comment, so we have anybody want to speak on public comment? Do you have anybody on Zoom, Jess? Okay, we'll go ahead and close public comment. So next up, we have reports and communications from our city attorney. None. Reports and communications from city manager.
Yes, our RFP deadline for city planner is up tomorrow, so we'll have some bids in. I also have instructed our interim planner to make a high priority the previous items mentioned with respect to Miss Mizuraka and 18 other homes that are similarly affected. So that is their top priority in addition to the 2 other items in terms of working on the rezoning.
Thank you for that.
So that should be coming to the council shortly. That's all I have.
Okay, council comments. Thank you, Mr. Lee. Council comments, reports, future agenda items. Councilmember LaFane.
Observation. I would like to bring an agenda item, and I still don't understand your new process. Because if it doesn't go here, it goes there. If they don't approve it, it goes here. I mean, it's just, anyway. I would like a policy addition to no cell phones on the dais. When people come to the meeting, they come to the meeting to be heard. And every time somebody gets up and speaks, I look over and I see the city manager on his cell phone. I see the vice mayor on his cell. Everybody's on their cell phone. They're texting people in the audience. Meanwhile, you've got someone who took the time out to come to this meeting to speak to all of you and our city manager and our city attorney. And they are being blatantly ignored. So if you want to bring your phone, leave it on the desk while people are giving public comment. That's something I would like to at least show some respect to the people that are making the time to come here. For most of this meeting, Vice Mayor Rhodes was on his phone. I'd like to see that on an agenda. I mean, we can vote on it now. I'm sure it won't go anywhere, but it's respect.
Okay, Councilmember Atlan?
Yeah, I asked for this before, but nothing happened, but I would like to see the Amador Water Agency has no contract. 2007, the city engineer said that they needed to pay $132,000 a year. They're paying almost nothing, and nobody up here wants to address that. I just find that incredibly wasteful of $132,000 a year, which we could have had for the last 20 years. Like that brought back. And that's
For
all I
your
got.
information, Mr. Allen, that's, if you read the agreement, that's based on the water that we take. So if we took the hundreds of thousands of gallons that's in that agreement, we would get that, but we don't take that much water. So it's based on how much water we take. So I will clarify that with you in an email, that agreement. So, hey, if we're supposed to get $132,000, I guarantee you I'd be on it. But the agreement specifically says based on the water we take, and we only take a very minimal amount of water right now. So I think that was based on like 200,000 or 300,000 gallons, a day or something like that, and we don't get near
Well,
that.
we're taking like 100,000 gallons a day.
Well, like I said, I will forward you that email.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else, Councilman?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Councilman Mitchell?
I'd like to thank Supervisor Epperson for not dunking me at the Jackson Car Show. In return, I did not dunk you either. I'm glad we won't have a dunk tank at the Ione Car Show in June, because I'm pretty sure we'd both probably drown. A lot of good events coming up. Got some neat things at the amphitheater. I hope to see you out there. And appreciate all of you coming tonight. Thanks.
I have nothing.
I just want everybody to have a wonderful Memorial Weekend and think about why we call it Memorial Day. So thank you for coming tonight and your attendance, obviously, and for your contribution. Mr. Don from Wildan, thank you. I messed your name up many times today. Do we have a motion?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, motion to adjourn, second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
So moved.